Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Wednesday. Logging in to get my vault. I'm gonna reply to some comments and yeah, see what we get. So let's do vault first. Obviously, we're hoping for either a weapon or a tier piece or something good that can be upgraded into a tier piece. I did a lot of M+ this week, so we're going to have 3 max level options. I also did a normal raid, but I don't think I'm gonna get any of these. Crit Mastery Ring, not good. Oh my god, what is this vault? This first vault is depressing, man. Holy. 2 bad rings. And a belt that cannot be upgraded to tier. There is no way. Okay, let's think. I'm just gonna get the Mastery Ring. We'll probably replace it at some point, but whatever. An upgrade is an upgrade. I can also catalyze two of my hero items, so we can get the 2 set. Because right now we have zero tier pieces. So chest. And shoulders. Okay, it's time to reply to some comments. I want to see what you guys have to ask, what you have to say, and hopefully we can answer some questions. Okay, glad to see someone uploading Subbro gameplay. So much fun to play. I agree. I'm wondering, why do you still activate Slice and Dice manually at the start of the fight instead of just using Eviscerate? That's a good question. The reason is that... Wait, I'm gonna show you. The reason is that if you do Eviscerate, it will give you like 20 seconds of Slice and Dice, right? Which is not bad, and that's with full combo points. Like, it's not bad. But if you do Slice and Dice with full combo points, it gives you like 50 seconds, right? And most of the time, first pull is like a very big pull, like a bloodlust pull most of the time, with a lot of mobs to fight, which means that in the next like 20 to 30 seconds, we will not be using Eviscerate, because you stop using Eviscerate at 7+ targets, right? So you don't want to spend a global to use Eviscerate, but you do want to have Slice and Dice up at all times, because it gives you a lot of bonus DPS in the form of like auto attacks and the combo points that it gives you through shadow techniques. So yeah, that's why. So I'm basically trading like, I don't know what it is, 1 global for 200k damage to have Slice and Dice up throughout the entire fight without me needing to refresh with an Eviscerate. I mean, I guess you're going to use an Eviscerate either way when you get a coup de grace proc, but still, I don't know. It's not a big deal. Like, don't worry about it. It's not important at all. I don't even think Blizzard dev team can pass 10+ with 645 gear, another paid test season. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but here, have a heart. Why does he use in the first group Eviscerate only, and in the second group Black Powder for AoE. What was the difference between these groups? Wait, let me see actually what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, so I'm using, don't mind me dying to all the ground stuff. I'm using Eviscerate to, yeah, prior damage the straight detonator. I mean, now that I think of it, I should probably use Black Powder to, you know, do maximum DPS because there's more than 7 targets. However, if you take a look at the health bars, you will see how important prior damage is. Because look, this guy has like double the HP of every other mob, right? But because we're focusing him down with Eviscerate, he dies at roughly the same time that everything else dies, which is what matters for speed in M+ a lot. So yeah, it is prior damage. I mean, now that I think about it, it's probably a mistake, but it's not a big deal. This is a new season for me too. I'm coming back from a small break. I'm learning how to play again. So yeah, these videos are not supposed to be like perfect gameplay. You know, it's just supposed to be gameplay. Yeah. So in this fight, you can see I realized that I made a mistake before, and also like there is no prior target in this group, right? So everything is equal HP. So I'm just cleaving everything down with Black Powder. Only using Eviscerate with coup de grace. How do you get that combo point in the middle of the screen? Yep, I mean, this guy replied for me. That's nice. It's good to see you guys, helping each other out. Okay, can I ask, is Subrog hard? Is letting you're pressing a lot of spells, or do you have some macros? I would say Subrog is one of the more simple specs in the game, in the sense that it's not very complicated. It has like a relatively low skill floor, but it has a pretty large, pretty high skill ceiling. I think you can min-max a lot when you're playing this class, which makes it a lot of fun to play for long periods of time as well. Like, it's simple enough so that you're not overwhelmed, and you can like pay attention to other stuff going on in the game. But it's complicated and like min-max enough where it keeps you engaged, It keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting. I personally really like this spec. Like, I would probably not be playing WoW if I was not playing this spec. So yeah. As for the macros, yeah, I do have some macros. I will show you my macros and I will post them in the comment as well. Too much work to show character stats and talents for 1 second, I guess. Too much work to be polite, I guess. I mean, yeah, I did look at this comment, and negativity aside, it's a good idea, and moving forward, I will have those in the beginning of the video. But you get no heart. Fuck you. What does this mean? Please note that the weather is hot and cold. Yeah, that's not it. Hi, make a guide for Subrog quickly. Quickly? Okay. Okay, I'll think about it. Bro, where's the Subrog guide you promised us? I did not promise anything. What are you talking about? I did not. I did not. But I mean, I guess we can do one really quickly. So just to cover the basics, I mean, for stats, you want Verse and Mastery. Verse is better for single target. Mastery gets better the more targets there are in the fight. So you want Verse and Mastery, you don't want Haste, so any remaining stats go into crit. I also like Verse a lot because it also gives you passive damage reduction, which in high keys it becomes very, very useful. So for macros, let's see, have this macro, it's basically one button for backstab, one button for shadow strike. You know, depending if you're stealthed or if you're in shadow dance or not, pretty straightforward. I don't have to have multiple keybinds for these spells. This is standard Cold Blood with Secret Technique. You always want to use Cold Blood with your Secret Technique, so I just have it macroed. This is Dance and Symbols in one button. It is pretty useful as you're, you know, 99% of the time you're only using Symbols of Death when you're popping Shadow Dance, so it's good to free up some finger space, you know, in your keyboard. It's whatever, it's a spammable stealth macro. This is a mouse over shadow step macro. I use it, you can see me use it on the tank a lot of the times, like if there's a lot of shit on the ground and I need to move, but then I need to like get back to a safe spot. I usually just shadow step the tank and I'm back in melee, safe to deal DPS. Okay, so this is my my Swifty one-shot macro. You can see like it casts Shadow Blades, it casts my Tempered Potion. Blazing Wings is like, it's just a toy, like you don't need to worry about it. I just like to pop these wings because they look cool. And also it Shadow Strikes. So normally, like I would pop Shadow Dance and Symbols of Death, and then press this macro and do an auto attack. So it would look something like this. I press one button to get Symbols of Death and Shadow Dance, and then with one button I do Shadow Blades, Tempered Potion, and the backstab, as you can see, or Shadow Strike rather. This is my Tricks of the Trade. I use it on the tank. I change the name here to... I change the name when I log into every single dungeon to the name of my tank, so I don't have to think about, you know, like targeting or mouse, you know, hovering over with a mouse or do something like that. I just press one button and yeah, it just uses tricks on the tank. Pretty simple. This is my focus kick, so you can see me very often when we're engaging a pack. I find the caster. I can focus, and then, you know, I can be hitting something else, but hitting something else, which is very, very important for Mythic Plus. Like I think when I started using this, you know, like a focus kick, it made me a much better player, and yeah, it gives you a lot of peace of mind as well, because if you want to make absolutely sure that the cast is not going to go off, you know, you don't have to be hovering over different nameplates mid-fight. It can be very chaotic. You know, it's very nice to have. Like you should get it. And the next one is, you know, the last one is Flag and Transmitter, or like your 1.5 minute on use trinket. So with one button, you know, I just do Flag and my unused trinket. So as far as the rotation goes, if you're fighting 1 to 6 targets, it's the same. Like, it doesn't matter if you're fighting 1, it doesn't matter if you're fighting 3, 5, or 6 targets. You know, the only thing that changes is on 7+ targets, in which case you're basically just replacing Eviscerate for Black Powder. So for the opener, let's say we don't have Slice and Dice up. Usually you do, but if it's the first pull of the dungeon, like, you don't. So you either have to like manually use it as your tank is like grouping the mobs and stuff like that, or you want to go into stealth, you want to Shadow Strike, want to pop Flag with a transmitter, you want to Eviscerate, and then you want to Vanish, apply Rapture, and then pop your cooldowns. So you're going to pop Shadow Dance, Symbols of Death, Shadow Blades with the Potion and the Shadow Strike, and then you can proceed to Secret Technique and Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, and it goes like this until you get Secret Technique back up. It's fairly simple, and obviously, like, outside of your main cooldowns, you want to maintain Rapture on as many targets as you can, you know, reasonably. Like, you don't want to be applying Rapture when the mobs have like 20-30 million HP, because they're going to die a lot sooner than than intended for your Rapture to actually deal damage. So it would look something like this. Go Shadow Strike, Flag, Eviscerate, Vanish. Oops, that was a mistake. I should have Raptured instead of Eviscerate, but it doesn't really matter for now, I guess. Do up cooldowns again, just in time for the new Secret Technique. And you go like this. Very, very simple. And now outside of your cooldowns, you want to be applying Raptures. You know, Shuriken Storm, obviously, when you're not in Shadow Dance, to get more combo points. And if you don't have your Nimble Flurry up, which I track here, you want to be using Black Powder on multi-target, of course, and Eviscerate on single target. So it's pretty simple. You basically want to like just generate and spend combo points until your Secret Technique is back up, and when your Secret Technique is back up, then you use Symbols of Death with Shadow Dance. Use Secret Technique, it gives you the Nimble Flurry, so then you can proceed to basically single target damage. And it's very simple. Now, for 7+ targets, it's going to be largely the same, but there is one little trick you should be doing. So, we have this talent here called Improved Shuriken Storm, okay? So when it crits, it basically applies Find Weakness, which makes, it makes your spell stronger, basically. So Black Powder deals... 30% damage more, Eviscerate deals more damage, so you want to have it up. The thing is, with is this one? No, this one, the Rotten. Okay, so with this talent, when you're activating Symbols of Death, your next 2 generating attacks, 2 combo point generating attacks, will be guaranteed critical strikes, which means that if you pop Symbols and you do a Shuriken Storm, then everything it hits is going to be tagged with Find Weakness, and that's obviously like a huge deal when you're spamming AoE spells on everything. It basically gives you like 30% more damage, which is insane. So what you want to do on 7+ targets is the same exact rotation as before, is just that you're replacing Eviscerate with Black Powder. Now the trick is that after you use Shadow Dance and Symbols of Death, you do like a Secret Technique, right? So after the Secret Technique, you're going to press one single Shuriken Storm so that you apply they apply the find weakness on every single mob, and then you can continue your normal rotation with black powder instead of eviscerate. So it would look something like this. This is 5 targets, I know, but just imagine there's 5 more. Shadow Strike, Flag, Rapture, Pop cooldowns, Cold Blood, Shuriken Storm, and then you go black powder with fitting the coup de grace when you have it, like an eviscerate. And there it is. It is fairly simple. Like, honestly, just go to target dummies like I am here. Just practice it for like 20 minutes. Do it a couple of times. Like, you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. The rotation is not the difficult part of playing Subrog, if there is a difficult part. The most important thing is timing your cooldowns, not using them. When mobs are like 10% HP. Knowing what target to prioritize and stuff like that. So obviously this comes from experience, by just playing the game, playing the dungeons, figuring out the prior targets, figuring out like the kick targets and all that stuff. This is what's important. Okay, let's read some more comments. Do you raid at all? I would love to see sub POV and hero kills. Learn so much from this video. I'm glad to hear that. Question. In the first pack, why didn't you spread kidney and also use a vis over black powder? I assume you mean rapture. Is it better to use black for 10 plus mobs than 7 or 8 plus, or do you only spread rapture outside of flag and shadow blades? Yeah, so you want to use black powder instead of eviscerate on 7 plus targets, and you want to be applying rapture outside of your cooldowns. So when you're not in shadow dance and symbols of death and stuff like that, like, you want to be applying rapture. That's it basically. It's fairly simple. How does your UI look like that? Like what? I don't know what you're referring to, but I guess we can go through some of my add-ons. Maybe some people will find it helpful. Most of it's base UI though. I use the edit mode a lot to make my bars and stuff look like that basically. It's fairly simple. I have my debuffs closer to my screen, so I can see what's going on with my character. I have some hidden bars here because I don't need to be watching the cooldown of sap or poison or backstab or stuff like that. Like, you see, everything here does not have a cooldown basically. So yeah, everything I need to track is in this bar, in these 2 bars basically. And I have them kind of neat and tidy. Like, here are my offensive spells, so offensive cooldowns, and my CCs. This is my mobility and my utility and stuff. The bottom is survivability with vanish, healing pot, healthstone, and stuff like that. And this is just some some other stuff I need to track basically. So that is very simple. Let's see, what add-ons do we have? This is relevant. DBM. You can do DBM. You can do like big wigs or little wigs, I guess, for dungeons, or you can just get a weak aura that tracks dungeon abilities and stuff like that. is whatever. I'm just used to DBM. I have DBM. This is whatever. It just shows me if the key is in +2 or +3 range. It's irrelevant. This is relevant. This is relevant. Be quiet just suppresses the talking thingy in dungeons. I don't want it. It's useless. Whatever. Big debuffs. So quality of life. So if I do basically like a chip shot, it will show here. That's it. It just looks pretty. It's not very important, but it does work if other people stun or like CC the mob as well. So it's kind of useful, but not so much. It's whatever. Details damage meter. Just frame color to give my frames like this black look, which I like. It's honestly preference. It's not performance. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, some WeakAuras, Omni CD to track my party's cooldowns and stuff, as you can see in my key videos. Yeah, the rest is just quality of life, I would say. So there's not much going on in my add-ons. And for WeakAuras, I mean, it's mostly quality of life. I have an auto marker that marks the mobs that cast important spells in dungeons, so I don't have to do it manually. It helps, especially if you're padding, like people know what to kick and stuff like that. I'm tracking my escalating blade and flawless form here. So this is, every four eviscerates is going to be, every 4 backstabs or shadow strikes, it makes your next eviscerate even stronger. So I can see that here. Flawless form, I mean, you can track. It's not so important because you always have so flawless form is the thing that makes your abilities AoE, right? It makes your eviscerate AoE, it makes your auto attacks AoE, but you always get it after secret technique, so you don't have to worry too much about it. I just like having it because there are some points where you don't have flawless form active and you're fighting more than one target, and in that case you want to be using black powder instead of eviscerate. I mean, that's it. What else? This does not work anymore, unfortunately. Targeted by damage spells. If you see my key videos, targeted by damage spells. I mean, I can probably pull this up to the screen. It notifies you when you're being targeted by his spell in a dungeon, which makes it very useful because if you're getting targeted by 2 stuff at the same time, for instance, or even one sometimes, then it's time to either feint, evasion, or cloak to prevent the damage and not die. It's very important. I have a transmitter WeakAura, which just shows me what I need to do to activate my transmitter. But hopefully, when I get this season's trinket, I will get rid of it because fuck transmitter. Am I right? Anyway, and that's about it. I have shadow techniques counter that I made myself here. It's not a lot, but I know that when I have 7 or more of these, 7 or more shadow techniques stacks, I know that I can basically do 2 eviscerates back to back because I do eviscerate, shadow techniques refills my combo points, and then I eviscerate again. That's it. Quality of life, I'm telling you, like there's nothing major here going on with my add-ons. If you have any more questions, I can maybe answer them a bit better. But my UI is pretty simple, man. It's not a lot. Nice read. Refreshing to see a subbrook doing so well. Would be nice detailing gear and talents, etc. Thanks, man. I mean, talents are pretty straightforward. Like, you're not really changing anything. I mean, I recently changed to First Dance instead of Weapon Master, but that is because I feel like this season has a lot more AoE. So you're using a lot less eviscerate. I mean, Shadow Strike, I guess, and Backstab. Like you're using these a bit less, which makes it, you know, this talent is more for single target. This one is more for multi-target. So, you know, this season seems to be a lot more big pulls and multi-target in general. So I'm just going with this, and I'm liking it so far. But besides that, man, like you're not changing much in the talents. This is pretty much the setup I always go. You know, sometimes I drop Shiv to play something like this, which is kind of whatever, but you know, might as well get the 2% leads when you don't need Enrage Dispel at all. But I feel like this season has a lot of Enrages, so you know, I pretty much always play Shiv. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, but this is the setup. It's pretty much the same every time. Another, please. Sure thing, buddy. You got it. Anyways. Well, thanks for watching. I mean, I guess there's going to be more keys being uploaded soon. Yeah. I don't want this to be like a, you know, high production YouTube shit. I just want to upload my VODs, you know, upload my keys. Because basically nobody else was doing it. Like I was looking to, you know, when I was looking to learn Subrog, like there was not many resources around Subrog, especially last season, because it was like the worst spec in the game. No one was playing it. So yeah, I decided to do it myself. If you have any questions, like feel free to leave a comment on the video. Like I'll probably, you know, do a short video replying to comments every, I don't know, let's say every Wednesday, because it's a Vault day as well, and you know, maybe it could be like an update, a weekly update thingy or something. Anyway, have a good day, good luck on your Vault, and I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye.